LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up health. Anonymous letter alleges leadership crisis at National Minority AIDS Council. An anonymous staff member has accused the National Minority AIDS Council of a rapid and systemic collapse of leadership, governance, and ethical standards in a statement sent by Washington Blade. The claims allege that CEO Harold Phillips has destabilized the organization at every level, including hiring 9 senior staff with $220,000 salaries for duplicative and unjustifiable roles. Sources have told the Washington Blade many allegations appear credible. The statement also claims staff terminations and financial strain. NMAC, however, denied the accusations, calling them purposefully misleading. They said, quote, "We are aware of the recent Blade article containing unfounded allegations about NMAC making claims that are simply false and purposefully misleading. Evidenced by our new strategic plan and recent successful biomedical HIV prevention summit in Chicago, NMAC's new leadership is laser focused on delivering on our mission serving the HIV community with renewed energy and vision. This is no more than a shocking headline with no substance to back up the allegations made," end quote. The allegations come months after longtime leader Paul Kawata stepped down, raising concerns about the organization's future leadership. I have a few things to say on this, but recently I returned from the biomedical conference in Chicago, where 1,200 people came together with one shared goal. Sitting in those rooms reminded me that we are closer than ever to ending the HIV epidemic. Prevention works, treatment works. What we need now is leadership that understands both the science and the lives behind the data. NMAC has been leading at that intersection for years. Since Harold Phillips has stepped into leadership, these conferences feel different. The focus is sharper, the urgency is real, impacted communities are no longer afterthoughts, they are centered. What matters most to people living with or affected by HIV is clearly guiding the work. We would question salaries all day long across organizations throughout this country, but that conversation misses the larger truth. The work at NMAC is getting done. The impact is growing. Communities are being reached, supported, and respected because of strong leadership. Sometimes good people cost money because they are worth it. Honoring experience, vision, and results is not access or excess. It is investment. After witnessing the energy, clarity, and momentum in Chicago, it is clear that NMAC is not just talking about change, they are delivering it. I just love this organization. They are one of the ones behind me that really honed my voice when it comes to HIV. I took a workshop with them down in Miami almost 6 years ago, and it has changed the way I approach HIV, my advocacy, and my work. I've been to many of their conferences, was just there last week. I was actually able to present at that conference, and it's just so strong, and you see a major change and shift. And yeah, we could call salaries out in every nonprofit in this country, right?
Mm-hmm. Any organization, any business,
right,
in this country. I mean, I'm glad that you said something about that, because you do have to look at the bottom line. I can't tell you how many bosses said, I don't care how you get there, just get there. And yes, we can talk about salaries, and yes, I'm sure there's people out there that we assume make too much money. But again, what is their background? Where do they live? Cost of living, everything, everybody knows cost of living is going up, right? So if you're in a director's position and you're making $80,000 a year, we all know that $80,000 a year doesn't cut it for anybody, especially somebody, who has that responsibility. But you said it, if they're getting the job done and you are there in the trenches seeing the jobs getting done,
right,
then let's stop, going for low-hanging fruit. If the Washington Blade has always been kind of a situational news media platform anyway. It's sensationalism. They know that something like that is going to pique someone's interest who's not making that type of money. Go, why are they making that type of? But they're out there doing the work that's important.
Right.
And I think too, when you see Washington and the government and the absolute ridiculousness of certain people in certain positions, to read something like that, it strikes true.
Right.
Yeah. It strikes true. So I really appreciate you knowing that it's not necessarily accurate.
Right.
Or not the whole story.
Right. Exactly.
Or the important story.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that is an LGBTQ 1 Minute news story. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.